Hello, good afternoon, esteemed viewer. Welcome to Tuesday edition of the Sport Orbit, the home of sport, where we dissect the latest news in the world of sport. I am Salifu Usman, and I'm being joined in today's edition by our in-house sport analyst, Mr. Francis.
My pleasure to be here. I've always been here, but I'm just wondering the way you're just trying to hype me to seem as if I just came from somewhere else to join.
Well, just to hype in and tell you that it's our in-house sport analyst.
Yeah.
A very good one for that matter. Okay, my esteemed viewers, the Nigeria's chance hope of hosting the 2025 editions of the African Cup of Nations, following the withdrawal of the hosting right from Equatorial Guinea by the CAF, may be threatened by the North Africans, the Nigerians, Algerians, and Morocco. From the latest news reaching the sport orbit, having shows that Algerians and the Moroccan are warming up to submit a bid for the hosting of the 2025 edition of the AFCON. If you recall, the former president of Nigeria Football Federation, Amaju Pinnick, following when there was a news that Guinea may not likely meet up based on their lack of inadequate facilities and the structures enough to host a 24 team event. Pinnick mounted that Nigerians and the Republic of Benin may submit a joint bid to host that African Cup of Nations, but that decisions appear to be threatened by the latest news that Morocco and Algeria may be coming in to submit a bid. They are coming in a different hold. Algeria, Morocco may likely any moment from now submit a bid to CAF to host, to indicate their willingness to host that African Cup of Nations. Mr. Francis, the last time Nigeria hosted the Africa Cup of Nations was in the year 2000, where we jointly hosted with Ghana. Since then, Nigeria has not hosted Africa Cup of Nations since then again. And if you going by the CAF rotating of ensuring that they're rotating the Africa Cup of Nations within the continent of Africa, from the Southern Africa, the East African, to North African, and to the West Africa. The last West African country to hold that Cup of Nations was Ghana. That was 2008. And Equatorial Guinea and Gabon also co-hosted in 2012. Now, the next editions of Africa Cup of Nations is going to be hosted by Cote d'Ivoire, another West African country. So going by this, and the last North African team, the last North African country to host Africa Cup of Nations was Egypt. Egypt was not the original host. They came in on a rescue mission. Just when they discovered that Cameroon hosted the last edition could not meet up to hold the 2019 edition of the event. So Egypt came in on the rescue mission. The last time, if I may recall, you may get it. The last time the North African successfully beat and hosted the African Cup of Nations was the same Egypt was the last North African country to host African Cup of Nations, where they hosted in 2006. 2019, they came in on a rescue mission to rescue CAF by the inhabitants of Cameroon to meet up with their facilities. And now, looking at these scenarios, Nigeria wanted to host it, although the Nigerian government has not come out clearly to indicate their interest, although the former president of Nigeria Football Federation, Amaju Pinnick, mounted that idea that Nigeria may likely submit a bid to co-host it with the Benin. So going by these scenarios and this analogy, do you think Nigeria have the chance if Nigeria truly went ahead to submit the bid and with the North African coming in to also submit the bid for hosting of that African Cup of Nations?
They will say you have to be. Should I say, okay, my first line of this, I owe the truth to the masses, and I will speak the truth to the best of my own knowledge. I feel if the North Africans should submit their bid, I don't think Nigeria can the World Cup. I'm sorry, the African Cup of Nations, because looking at it from this angle, I don't think we even co-hosting with Benin should actually be should just be a proper packaged insult to Nigerians, because for how many years we are still talking about co-hosting with a nation. I don't think we have enough facilities here to host as a single nation to start with, and then co-hosting with Benin is not something we should be proud of. And then North Africans coming in to help us, if they should assess the facilities, I think they stand a better chance hosting ahead of Nigeria. And then when you think of the social issues that we are suffering in Nigeria, to insecurity and stuff, I don't pray it lasts till then. But let's take things into consideration. If CAF should start the assessments now, that's already a minus on our part. So, and I don't think our government, they have anything to do to ameliorate the issue and then set things right. So we're already the ones playing our own downfall. Nobody else is doing that. It's just us. So I believe that it's best to our own interest to tackle the issues first before submitting a bid, so that once they are doing the assessment, we can just beat our chest and stand tall and say, oh, we are capable of doing this.
Yeah, Francis is being frank about the whole issues, and is quite looking at the competent either Nigeria is even first and foremost even qualifies or have all the necessary facilities to hold the competition. But looking aside, you raised a very valid point. Looking at the insecurity issues and the facilities wise, but looking at the facility wise, what you may require to host a 24 national team of African Cup of Nations, you may require at least one minimum of four center, or at least six center.
Yes.
And if you're looking at the facility we have within the Nigerian content at the moment, we have Abdel National Stadium already, which can host any international event.
Yes.
We have a Gosu Akpabio Stadium in Rio ready, which can also hold as international. But between now and 25th, don't you think Nigeria can, if Nigeria is really ready and being who we are as a giant of Africa, and who are always rise up to the occasions where it mattered be, that between now, we are just in 22, if CAF give us the go ahead to host it, that between now and 2050, Nigeria can put our facilities in order. The work is being done at the National Stadium at the moment, and the Ahmad Bello Stadium Kaduna is also being put in place. So several other stadiums. Don't think that between now and 2050, Nigerians can summon the courage to put these facilities in order and then to hold the competition.
With this trajectory Nigeria is going with this particular trajectory, I don't think anything will be. Sorry to say, I don't think that anything can happen before 2025, except maybe after the Nigerian general election in general, and then, because looking at it, is it the present government and then the present NFF president that will put things for us in order? We've seen how things are, the way they've managed.
So it's the government that will come in.
Even if this particular government should come in, I don't think anything will happen before 2025, except there's change of government, and then we have someone that can value sports, and then make sure that there are policies put in place.
There's nothing like I said, very soon by this time next year, the government of Ahmad Buhari has come to an government of Ahmad Buhari will come to an end by May 29 next year.
Yes, and then if somebody that is worse, and if somebody that is worse,
we don't pray for
that's
that.
what I'm still saying.
We're looking for a president.
Yes,
Okay. Well,
except something positive
let me just
happens.
cut you there. Francis is being frantic about it, believing that Nigeria don't have all the security wise and facility wise.
Yes.
But I still believe that the only thing, in my own personal opinion, that the ones that may count against Nigeria's chance of hosting the African Cup of Nations is by the policies of CAF rotating the competition within the zone. And if Cote d'Ivoire is going to host the 2023 editions of the African Cup of Nations, it will not be tactically wise that after hosting in Cote d'Ivoire, which is West African region, and still coming to Nigeria, so which is an African region. That is the only way I feel that with the ideas of the North Africa coming in, Nigeria may suffer defeat in its chance of hosting the competition. And if you're looking at that, even though the North African Egypt hosted it in 2019, they were not the original host. They just came in on a rescue mission, and that's the way I look at it. If Morocco and Algeria went ahead and submit a bid, definitely Nigeria's chances of hosting that competition will be very slim. Well, we'll move to the next edition. We'll move to our next story, which is Basket African League. The Nigerian Tigers has been reinstated into the Basket African League, courtesy of the effort being made by Musa Kida led board of the Nigerian Basketball Federation. You remember that after Nigeria failed to qualify for the Africa Cup for the World Cup in the qualifier in Cote d'Ivoire, the president of Nigerian Basketball Federation, Musa Amadu, in making a frantic effort to ensure that Nigeria is given another chance to compete for a space in Olympic, and that has been granted. Nigeria now with an official communication from the basketball ruling body in Africa, FIBA. Then an insight for FIBA to actually confirm that statement, either Nigeria has been restated into the BAS League. what is the how do you welcome this development that Nigeria was delisted from the final round of the 2020 Basketball Africa by FIBA, but now the Basketball Ruling Body of Africa had in a letter dated January 14, 2020, signed by the Secretary General Bill, an address to the President of the Nigeria Basketball Federation, Musa Amadu, stated that Nigeria River Hoopers cannot participate in the 2020 final of the African Basketball League. If you recall, due to the crisis of the basketball and the factionalization of the Basketball Federation, Federal Minister of Youth and Sport came in on and in form of intervention, and then organized a final eight for the league, and that's when Nigeria champion emerged, which is Africa River Hoopers. And River Hoopers went to represent Africa as a representative of Nigeria in the Basketball African League, but the FIBA feel that Nigeria League was not concluded, that they feel that as an interference for ministry organizing the final eight to choose the champions of the Nigeria League, and because of that, withdraw Nigeria team for ban Nigeria team, the River Hooper, from competing. But we feel that has been restated now.
I feel for me, it's a welcome development, though. I'm happy for it because I think it's one of those ways of wiping the shame out of this country. Because you see, any problem we have with our sports ministry, I won't really say that they're not working, they're not doing their best, but the players are doing their best, but it's just the management and everything. So when all these things happen, it would have been sorted out, and all these problems and then of the listing and then bringing back would have been averted. But since it has happened, we are grateful, and then we hope that such a shame shouldn't catch us next time.
I agree with you, Francis. That is a welcome development, but that is what we call politics of the game. I think Musakira and his faction are trying to play politics here, and that's why, and that's the question where that people always put their personal agendas, personal interests ahead of national interests. Yes. Because you were having an issue with the federation, you went ahead behind, you have a connection in FIBA to withdraw to ban Nigeria from competing. Now, because it's appear that the course has been cleared for you and give you ahead to manage the basketball, you now went ahead to get restricted. So we shouldn't, for our personal interest, try to satisfy the national interest. Yes. Well, we'll go on a short break, then we'll come back, there's more.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
Welcome back from that short break. World champion and world record holders Tobi Amusa has advised Nigeria's young athlete, upcoming athlete, that if they hope to make a headway in their career, they have to shun drug. Amusa gave the advice while being unveiled as the Global Cup ambassadors in Lagos. According to the world champions, Amusa, athletes should be worried of foods and water, should be worried of food and the water they drink before, during, after the competition, stating that the most of the athletes fail to agree to the doping because they are not being careful of what they take. He just is politically right She's saying that if you are athlete and you are determined to achieve your aim in athlete and to achieve in your career, you must be aware, be worried of the kind of food, the kind of drink you take, and anything you take as an athlete. And according to her, what he's trying to say, and which is very frantic, that most of athletes fail doping because most of them are not aware of most of the things they take.
You can't really place them that they intentionally took drugs
you can excuse some few athletes that most of them are caught unaware, not that they deliberately take
because there was a time the rumor started spreading that if the opposition camp feels that you are going to perform more than their own players, they might send someone, and then maybe all the things you take, they might just spike it, and then from there you don't even know what happened, and then you fail the doping test, and then that's something bad we should be worried about. And I'm glad that the athletes Amusan is raising this issue. So I feel the athletes, the upcoming ones, and both the established ones, they should be worried about, and they should also look into what she said, both your food, your drinks, and then even the drugs you take. You might take some drugs maybe because of pains, and then you don't know that it contains a particular chemical composition that is not meant to be found on your body as an athlete. And then when the test is done, you find out that you failed the test. And it's something worrisome, because I can't see myself after I've competed in a competition and then won. And days after, they will be like, you have been stripped off of, yes, I've been stripped off because of I failed the doping test. And that's really, really something crazy, and then something to be worried about. So
and
I feel
you raise another very valid point. I don't think most of the athletes or most of the coaches or most of the media, the guardians of those athletes are aware of those situations. It says that if a opposing opponent or a camp of opponent feel that you are a threat, they may move around you to spy something, and then
it's possible. Don't you think that you have spies?
And that is a very valid point you take. And then if you are athlete and you are working with an athlete, I think should begin to take notice of what you are. At the same time, that's also seen a culture. If you are in a camp competing, you should also be mindful of the kind of people you interact with, and the kind of people you mingle with,
and where you eat and what you eat.
What you eat and what you eat. Yes, that is very correct. And like the advice coming from Amusha is a very right person, and I think she's a very right person for any athlete to listen to. And that is why we are celebrating her, that only God knows the amount of text.
And then temptation has passed
to have survived up to this, and we'll keep on praying her that she will still continue to be a shining star of Nigeria. Yes. Well, we move to the next story. Last night there was a fantastic Premier League matches that was played yesterday in between the Leicester and the Northern Forest. In that particular match, we have our Nigerians on the opposing side of Insurance. Wilfred Udidi was playing for Leicester, while Awoni was playing for the Northern Forest. But unfortunately, Awoni was on the receiving end, and for that match, Awoni, both of them was while Winfrey was in full action for the plural on the match. Awoni always see action for 62 minutes and was replaced by another Nigerian. That is Emmanuel Dennis. But unfortunately, both Dennis and Awoni
were related by 4-0 and Kelechi Iheanacho. We forgot Iheanacho too is still on.
Iheanacho was on the bench. So how do you? I don't know the way.
For me, let me start with Northern Forest. Yes. I feel that the trashing is too much for a club that signed 22 new players.
19 players.
I guess that they completed 22.
19. They signed 90 players for the season.
It's too much, and I think the coach and then the coaching crew should do better, because if they continue on this path, they might end up starting the season from here, and they'll end up going back to where they came from.
It's like their journey to where they are coming back from is almost being confirmed. But I'm
happy for Leicester though.
Yes, I'm also happy for Leicester. It's just unfortunate that Nigerians were on the receiving end of the happiness of the Leicester yesterday, because this is their first victory of the season after eight matches. Yeah, and this is the first time in recent time this is happening to Leicester.
Yes.
Leicester for Ben Rogers. It was a good, fantastic victory for him yesterday, winning 4-0, and I think that has given some pressure off him, and I can now have time to concentrate on this job and then focus on the next match, and hope that this victory will continue.
Will continue so that we won't hear any other team bad about Leicester.
Well, Arsenal coach Michael Arteta is confident that his own player, Gabriel Jesus, will make the Brazilian squad to the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. According to him, all Jesus needed to do is to remain calm, and the way he take the news that is coming, and just remain calm, continue to do what he's doing, you know what to do, and possibly advance or even perform better than he's performing at the moment. And then that will put the national team in confusion. That they must confusion that they will not have any option but to make it, to include it into the team. They will think that Gabriel Jesus deserves a place in the Barcelona in the Celestino squad.
I'm not denying the fact that he deserves it. Gabriel is a fantastic player. But I'm worried that Arteta is only disturbed about Jesus and not including Martinelli too, because they're Brazilians and they are attackers. But I feel Gabriel making it to be a boost to the Brazilian national team, and also will be a boost to Arteta for that he has a player that is doing well and is being called up in the national team. But looking at it from this end, Brazil, they have enough attackers, threatening attackers to defenders. So I don't think with or without him, I feel Brazil will still perform.
Yes, with or without him, Brazil will still perform. We would also we were hoping that we were being invited for the last 2 matches against the Black Stars of Ghana and the Captains of Eagles of Tunisia. But unfortunately, it didn't make the squad, make any of the squad. And that have raised a doubt either he's going to be part of the team to the Qatar.
That is just mere speculation.
But for Arteta to be so concerned that he wanted him to make it, but don't you think Arteta should also be happy that he's not going to the World Cup? That would have given him enough time to rest and then save from any injuries and continue his good run for that snap.
I don't know. Maybe if let's just be honest. We know that the World Cup is the biggest stage of football. And if your player goes and performs well, so you'll be happy as a coach.
No matter, even though you are enemies of any player, you can't wish not to go to the World Cup.
So I feel he's rooting for the player to win, and then he's also rooting for the club.
I don't think Arteta play at the World Cup. I don't think Arteta didn't play at the World Cup. I think Arteta play for Spain. And I don't.
He never made appearance.
He didn't make appearance, but he featured for the Spanish for once. I don't know how many caps he has for the Spanish, but unfortunately, I don't think he played at the World Cup. And he's wishing that Jesus has earned about play for.
I feel like he's trying to play the father role, where if you can't succeed, give your son the shoulder to succeed.
And at the same time, so he's also trying to encourage Jesus that what you are doing at the moment is not enough. You need to do more.
To prove to the world what you are doing at Arsenal is good, but the world needs to see you.
I think it's another way of urging Jesus.
Yes,
I bet score more goals.
And putting the backing more goals.
As far as you are backing more goals, that will put the Brazilian national coach in dilemma that he has no any shot but to invite you to them. But for Brazil to have a striker like Jesus and keep it and not even mind him, they have a striker.
That tells you the strength, the squad depth, and then the strength in the attacking force of Brazil.
Of the Brazilian team, and that's why I'm not surprised. A lot of people are.
No, but if he makes it, I'm happy. I love Jesus personally.
Yes,
I'm a personal fan
of course. I'll also be happy that he make the World Cup, and that's why a lot of people are beginning to lose that the next World Cup may likely go to South American between people are already talking.
Argentina and then Brazil. But you can't predict. Let's just watch and see what happens.
You can't predict. Let's watch and what happens. Then we'll move ahead. Champions League.
The Champions League fixtures we have maybe today.
We have Champions League today coming up today, and then the Champions League matches. My producer, I don't know if you have the Champions League fixtures. I'll go ahead and look at the fixtures that are online today. We know that Bayern Munich versus
Victoria Pleasant,
Martial versus Sporting Club, and then Liverpool versus Rangers, Ajax versus Napoli, Porto plus Bayern Leverkusen, then Club Brugge, Atletico Madrid, and then Inter Barcelona, then Frankfurt and Tottenham.
I think the only tough match I'm seeing there, or the tough matches I'm seeing, should be Liverpool Rangers. That would be a tough one for Liverpool. And then Ajax.
Why Liverpool Rangers?
We've seen Liverpool's form is not what they used to be. Should I say they dropped? Should I say 30% in form? They dropped.
And if you look at that group at the moment, that's a group that also comprises Napoli
and then Napoli and Ajax too is also going to be a tough match. Even though I'm not happy that Osimhen is going to miss.
Napoli has won their last two matches both against Rangers and Liverpool. And now they are going to Ajax, and even Ajax too has also won against Rangers, beat Rangers mercilessly. And then Napoli beat Liverpool in their last match, beaten Ajax. But now, those two sides like Napoli, Rangers, Ajax is going to be Napoli's. Ajax is going to be a very tough match.
Yes,
because Napoli's are going to play with, and Ajax coaches are also mindful that if Napoli come with a striking potential of what they have, he may likely suffer the defeat. But he's ready to contend what they have. He's ready to contend whatever they are bringing.
I feel Ajax can match up Napoli. They can match up Napoli at Amsterdam because you can with the quality of players they have. The way and watching their last matches, they performed well. I don't think even them missing selling off their players is not even affecting them. And Napoli too, with or without Osimhen, their striker, they're still doing well. So I think that match will be a tough one and very, very entertaining match to watch to see how both teams will fare. And then being that is going to be at Amsterdam, I feel like Ajax should come out with, even if it's at least a draw. Now I'm feeling that Napoli is stronger than Ajax or in terms of strength. But since I'm just giving them that home advantage to come out even with at least a draw or a 1-0 win.
Okay, let's move ahead. Look at Barcelona is taking a trip to Inter Milan. What do you see about
that? Should be an easy win for Barcelona.
An easy win, what?
I know Italian is shocking, right? But for me, Inter is not at that place I want them to be this season. Judging from what their previous matches, I guess they lost in the weekend. They lost, and then Lewandowski is still there scoring, just like he's just a 25-year-old striker that is looking there to be at the peak of his career. So Barcelona meeting Inter, and then Inter has some injury worries, and then some of their key players missing. So that would be a very, very easy win for Barcelona.
Well, for those of you out there who are likely going to watch this match tonight, and at the same time try to put your money online. If you like, take what the advice that has been given by Francis, say that the match is going to be an easy one for Barcelona. Then put your money on Barcelona, but that will be at your own peril. But I'm not saying that. But if you want, go ahead with Francis. But that is the most we can take on today's edition of the Sport Orbit. Francis, thank you for coming on the show.
My pleasure always to be here.
I am Salifu Usman. Until you come your way again for next edition of the Sport, remain blessed out there.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.